I have been in the language learning world for 3 years, and today I'm going to share with you the step-by-step guide that I follow every time I start a new language. It's totally going to help you if you are starting a new language in 2026, so just stick to the video, stick to the end, and let's get started. Welcome to this channel. Here I talk about language learning, so if you are a language learner, please subscribe to the channel and keep watching the video now. So my approach to language learning has always been more focused on speaking than any other skill. I just feel like if I am not capable of speaking the language, what's the point of learning it? So it's just like my goal with language learning is just to be able to speak multiple languages and not only know them by heart or just be able to read a text in them. It's just I want to be able to talk, to have a conversation, to express my thoughts in that language. So if that's also how you approach language learning, then this video is even more perfect for you. The first step that I take is to understand the language rather than just memorize words. I need to understand the structures of the language before diving into the vocabulary and just the words. I need to understand how the grammar works. So for example, now that I'm gonna learn German, I have been just like flirting with the grammar of the German language because I want to understand how it works. And I know that it's pretty different in some aspects from the English grammar and from the Portuguese grammar and stuff. So it's very important to me that before I start the language officially, I just get to know how it works, the structure. I feel like by doing that, I will be able to communicate much better and just like speak the language much better. So yeah, that's my first step. And how do I do that, guys? It's pretty simple. I literally just stick to the basics. I like to come here on YouTube and just search for videos for very absolute beginners so that I can just get to know how to, for example, how to introduce myself, how to say where I come from and stuff like that. By doing that, I get to know how the language structure works. And that's also input. So I'm killing two birds with a stone, right? Because at the same time that I'm listening to the language and giving a lot of input to my brain, I'm also getting to know how it works. So you see, it's just killing two birds with a stone, right? The second thing that I do is to dedicate an entire notebook just for that language. I'm very old-fashioned when it comes to learning vocabulary. I like to just handwrite them. I like to make sentences. I like to really explore the vocabulary that I am currently learning. If you don't take notes with your own hands, or if you just type them on your computer, it's not the same, guys. So I personally don't sit down on my chair to stare at a list of vocabulary about kitchen, for example. I don't do that. For you, it might work, but for me, it's just not my favorite thing. So I prefer to stick to the basics, as I said, and I watch videos, YouTube videos just like this one that you are watching now. And I pick out a lot of words and expressions that the person who's in the video have used. I mix real life content with vocabulary that is tightly related to my life. Plus, I use Language Reactor. Language Reactor is a powerful tool to whoever's learning a language. I always use it, and I'm not even being sponsored by it, but I just like to share the good tips with y'all. So just so you know, use Language Reactor. It's gonna help you a lot, and that's it. This here is my notebook where I do all of my writing in the language. I don't only use it for vocabulary though. I like to use it for my reflections, to tell stories, to write like a journaling stuff. It allows me to focus both on input and output at the same time, because when I'm watching a video like this in English, I take notes and that's input. But I also, after that, create my own sentences with the vocabulary that I've learned. I try to create a very short story where I'm using all of these words, all of those words that I just learned. So it's pretty effective. And besides, it's output because I'm outputting something. The next thing that I do is to create scenarios, fake scenarios, where I have to speak the language. I wish everyone knew how effective and how powerful, how amazing this is for your language learning, but apparently not every language learning talks about it, and I feel like that's too bad. I'm gonna demonstrate to you what I usually do when I'm reviewing vocabulary. So I don't just read it out loud like this. Oh, I learned the word cell phone. Cell phone is a device that no, I don't do that. Reading out loud to review is not the best option. You can just pretend like you're having a conversation, and you need to use those notes that you wrote down on your notebook. Let's all pretend that I learned the chunk the best way too. And instead of just reading it out loud and reading the definition of it after, I'm going to try to use it on a fake conversation that I'm having with somebody that doesn't even exist. It only exists in my head. I don't think that's very smart. I think that the best way to learn a language is by consuming a lot of content and also creating scenarios like this where you have to speak the language so you can practice output. This demo that I've just done for you might seem crazy and psychic, but it's one of the most effective ways to learn a language. Trust me, it is. Now let's jump to the fourth step that I do, which is self-talk or self-speak. This pretty much comes down to what I've just demonstrated for you here. I was talking to myself, there is nobody else in the room, so yes, it is crazy, but yes, it is how I improve my languages. Yesterday, to give you a very concrete example, I was sitting on my bed and I was speaking Spanish alone, all alone. What was I talking about? I was talking about everything that is happening in my life and the routine that I want to follow and the events that happened to me yesterday. It's just really casual. It's not a very formal subject that I'm talking about. I'm using the vocabulary that I actually need for my life, for my routine and work and stuff. So that's what you should do too. Don't focus all your precious time on learning vocabulary that you know you're not gonna use now. But that's not the point. The point is try to speak to yourself. Speak to yourself. It's not that hard. For some people, it is really crazy to do that. For some people, you need mental treatment if you talk to yourself. But for polyglots, that's the most common thing to do. And finally, let's go to the last step that I do, which is micro-learning moments. It's not possible to sit down every day for 1 hour straight and speak that language or study that language. It's just not really realistic for most people, as it is not for me sometimes. So what I do is to divide all of the language learning whole process that I have into micro learning moments. Sometimes I read only one page from a book. Sometimes I just talk to AI for like 5 minutes in the language. Some other times I just go on Instagram and watch like clicks from podcasts. I don't watch the entire podcast, but just some scenes from it, or even those interviews where people are walking in the street and somebody stops them to ask them questions. That is pretty helpful too. So guys, it really doesn't have to be a rocket science process. It can be light, it can be easy to do, it can be something you can adapt to your life. It does not have to take 1 hour for you to immerse yourself in the language and effectively learn it. If you do what I'm telling you right here, which is bits and pieces of language learning every single day, the way you can for 5, for 3, for 10 minutes, it's good. It's all good. It's better than nothing. Don't adopt the all or nothing mindset. You need to know that anything's better than nothing. Well, now you got the step-by-step guide that I follow every time that I learn a language. I hope this video could help you to both practice your listening and also perhaps learn some new vocabulary. I have some other videos here that can definitely help you. I'm gonna leave it on the screen for you to watch. Thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.